Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Dr. Stovall is going to be late tonight. I'm not sure what time he'll get here. Dr. Wheeler will not be here, and as secretary, I'm the one that gets to step in. You'll have to bear with me a little bit. I'm not used to running a meeting, but we'll do the best we can. So anyway, I'm calling the meeting to order at whatever time it is. I don't think my watch, I've got 5:35. Close enough?
Close enough.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is to review and approve the November meeting minutes, which are in your packet.
I so moved.
Okay, Norma Dell's made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second. Did you say? I second.
Sorry, okay, Dr. Kelly, second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Got through the first one. Okay, Dick, you want to take us through the November and December financial reports, please?
Does everybody have a packet? First is November 30th, 2011. Total checking and savings, $2,723,653.74. Total other current assets, $158,780. Total fixed assets, $6,479,835. Other assets, $54,791.46. Total assets, $9,417,061. Reserve for taxes uncollected, $155,046.04. Total equity, $9,262,015.31. Total liabilities and equity, $9,417,061.35. Second is the check detail. DirecTV, $106.23. Windstream, $103.97. The state comptroller, this is part of that, the UPL link. This is the withdrawal. You'll see the deposit in the deposits. My fee of $600. Irma Chavez, that's the housekeeper, $280. Overhead door, that's for the EMS building, $377. State auto insurance, that's also insurance for the EMS building, $2,010. And critter getters, that's pest control for the residential housing, of $86.60. Under deposits, check from ETNC for their regular payments. The Surgery Center of $2,419.54, Women's Center $4,733.99. Taxes collected $125,446.67. Here's the UPL deposit by ETNC of $144,631.37. Interest on the checking account of $49.27. Profit and loss versus the budget. The only items that taxes, we're over budget, and which is always the way the taxes come in the first part of the year. $80,284 over budget. By the end of the fiscal year, it'll even out. No other. The nursing school equipment of $10,293.88. That was a non-budgeted item. When we amend the budget, we'll have to amend for that. So for the 2-month period, October and November, net income of $148,092, budgeted of $85,906.72. Turning the page, the month of November, net income of $128,652.87 for October and November, $148,092.98. Are there any questions? On the last page, the cash and investment summary. Of course, the CD rates just couldn't get much lower. All CDs are at 1.24%. Now they reduced the yield on the operating account of $637,000 in the general operating account. It's paying 0.1%. Any questions on November financials? All right, we'll go to the December financials. Total checking and savings of $2,758,186.39. Total current assets of $122,904.18. Total fixed assets of $6,479,835. Total other assets $54,792.76. Total assets, $9,415,718. Taxes uncollected of $119,618.04. And total equity of $9,296,100. Total liabilities and equity, $9,415,718.72. Profit and loss year to date. For the month of December, net income was $34,085.38. Year to date, for the first 3 months of the fiscal year, $182,178.26. Any questions? On the profit and loss, according to the budget, now we're over budget on taxes collected of $102,132.77. We did collect $4,500 on the residential rental, so we're over budget $3,000 on residential. For the month of December, October through December is $182,000. We had budgeted $119,000, so we're over budget on total revenue of net revenue of $63,046. Any questions? Deposit detail, $900 from EMS rent. CD capitalized interest of $1,718.08. A check from ETMC of $7,153.53, which is those two regular monthly payments. This is the residential rental of $4,500 from Jerome, whatever his name is. Taxes received of $45,181.72. CD capitalized interest of $3,120.96. Another EMS rent of $900. Interest on the checking account of $55.44. Check detail, DirecTV of 106, Windstream 103, monthly of 800. Appraisal district, our pro rata share of the budget of the appraisal district of $2,316.68. Overhead door again of $302. These two checks are in question, and I have recommended that Dr. Walker suggested we not pay these two bills. Dr. Stovall sent these bills in my office, and we did write these checks. These are both the engineering firm of Scott and Strong, and I wrote the checks. I'm not sure without Dr. Stovall here without a report on the progress of the. I don't have any direction except to say I was not signed. We funded our $1.5 million, and so I don't know if this is the district's responsibility to complete the engineering plans, or if this is part of the overall completion of that 30% or so. That's all I know about that. The final page is a cash and investment summary. Same situation, CDs of 1.24%, and general operating account of $666,000, 0.1%. That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions? Then we need a motion to approve the financial statements. Dr. Morrison and somebody in here. Walker. Okay, seconded. Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of the engagement. Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, now we have the approval of the engagement letter from Todd Heimacher and Johnson LLP. And I think we had discussed in a previous board meeting, the cost of the audit was estimated to be $9,000. We talked about it a little bit, and I don't know that we've come up with any alternatives, but we do have the engagement letter, and it is set in writing, and the fee is $9,000 plus out-of-pocket expenses. So we need an approval of this engagement letter. Have any questions?
That fees inconsistent with what we should be paying for an
I
audit?
have no idea.
It was the same as the year before, and the year before that, there was a single audit, which was more. That's just the problem. It's just hard to find somebody that's going to do an audit of this size, and that's just basically the way it is.
Do we write 100 checks a year?
Well, we write about 100 checks a year, yeah. But it's not the volume of dollars, it's
The
the
regular-
liability of just signing off on
And I would suggest that next year we put out some, not bids necessarily, but some requests for other audit firms to give us an estimate, because this does seem high to me also. So, but I think at this point we need to go ahead and approve this. So, need a motion.
I saw motion.
Dr. Kelly, I throw it us. Any discussion? And all in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Okay, ETMC project update. Is there anybody here from ETMC to give us an update?
Mr. Cutler was in Tyler today for the affiliates meeting. He's not returned yet.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody able to give us a surgery center update? Dr. Walker, you got anything on the surgery center?
No.
Okay, moving along, ETMC lease renewal committee report. We have not met since probably November, and we will set up another meeting this month and report back at the next meeting. Dr. Walker, you have some comments?
Well, I mean, it typically continues to be a breach of contract. It's in numerous ways, and we need to rectify that and have them at least honor their side of the commitment. And some of these methods they're breach start to affect patient safety, and in many ways, the med staff complain about some of these issues with no response. And our committee, our position to med staff is they should at least address patient safety issues. That's enough comment.
Is that enough for me?
Would you like more comment?
Whatever, I mean, whatever.
No, it's not.
If it's okay with the board, I'll schedule a review of Patrick's notes at our committee meeting. Next item on the agenda is to adopt orders and resolution for election on May the 12th, 2012. You want me to keep going?
Please.
The first thing we have to do is a resolution, and I think I'll just read this. May not read every one of these, but this is the one that, whereas the Houston County Hospital District will be holding its election for directors of the district on May the 12th, 2012. Whereas the independent school districts of Kennard, Texel, and Lovelady are also holding elections on the same day of May the 12th, 2012. Whereas the boundaries of the Houston County Hospital District are contiguous with the combined areas of the school districts of Kennard, Texel, and Lovelady. Therefore, Houston County Hospital District Board of Directors have resolved to share election expenses on an equal basis for election officers, polling sites, and other election personnel with each of the Texel, Kennard, and Lovelady school districts, with the Houston County Hospital District. Therefore, jointly conducting an election on the 12th day of May, 2012, at each of the polling places set by the named school districts, accepting only their absentee boxes. The Board of Directors further resolves that it will set up one absentee voting box at the Houston County Courthouse in Crockett, Texas, for the purpose of absentee voting. It is furthermore agreed that the expenses will be reimbursed upon submission of the applicable billing records from the school districts with which it has shared expenses. This resolution is going to be passed on the 17th day of January 2012. If I can have a motion to approve this resolution.
I so move.
Norma Bill Jones, and a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, And I don't know which order I should do this, if I should talk about, I think I'll do this next, is the director placements positions up for election this year.
Excuse me, that's really not motions. I mean, that's just for.
Well, that's why I thought I would
Okay,
get, this is
yeah.
for information.
Okay.
So, the directors that are up are place 2, Dr. George Beeler; place 4, Dr. John Stovall; place 6, Dr. Ray Morrison; place 8, Deborah Blackwell. If you wish to run for any of these positions, you can pick up an application for a place on the May 12, 2012 general election ballot, and a petition in lieu of a filing fee for Dick Murchison, election coordinator, at 500 East Houston Avenue, Crockett, Texas. And candidates must have at least 100 registered voters to qualify. The deadline to file is no later than 5 p.m. on March the 5th. Early voting will begin on April 30th through May 8th. The election's on Saturday, May 12th. Unless there are uncontested positions, then there will not be an election. And again, an application and nominations can be picked up at Dick Murchison's office at 500 East Houston. Okay, should have done that first. The next item we have is the order of election. And normally I don't think we read this, do we, Dr. Stovall?
Sometime I just summarize it. For the boards, you know, well, the board votes on it. It's for our information. What's the gist of it? I'm sorry.
Well, this is the order of election. House Bill 2410, acts of the 69th Legislature regular session relating to the creation, administration, powers, duties, operation, and financing of the Houston County Hospital District governs the election of members of the Board of Directors of the Houston County Hospital. The Board of Directors are required to make suitable provision for the conduct of the election of members. And the Board of Directors is resolving that the following resolution constituting an order of election as follows. It's ordered that the election will be held on May 12th. The polls will be open from 7 until 7. We're consolidating with Kennard, Patexo, and Lovelady. Elections shall be held for places 2, 4, 6, and 8, and they're 2-year terms. Candidates receiving the highest number of votes shall be elected, and there will be no runoffs. Person who wishes to have his name printed on the ballot as a candidate for director must file with the Secretary of the Board of Directors an application for place and a petition in lieu of filing fee signed by at least 100 registered voters asking that the name be placed on the ballot. The determination of whether a person is a registered voter of the district shall be based on the most recent official list of registered voters. The application and petition must specify the place for which the applicant is to be a candidate, and they can be obtained at 500 East Houston. Deadline is 5 p.m. on Monday, March 5th. To be eligible to be a candidate to serve as a director, you must be a resident of the district and a qualified voter. An employee of the district may not serve as a director. At least 35 days before the date of the election, notice of the election shall be published one time in the Houston County Courier.
Could I say something?
Sure.
There is a possibility that this election will be postponed based on the state of Texas. All of that redistricting is up in the air, and I think it's going to postpone the county elections in March because of the voter registration cards. So this is all subject. I took this off of the Secretary of State's website. These are the dates that were currently in place, but all of this is subject to change. So.
Okay, then the second page of this just goes along and talks more about the polling places and locations. Early voting box will be at the Houston County Courthouse. Again, early voting April 30th to May 8th. If you want to do early voting by mail, that's an option. And so we need to approve this order of election. And I need a motion.
Ms. Dawson.
Wait a second. Do we have a second? I can't hear.
I'll second it. I don't get to do that very often.
Dr. Stoffel, second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. The next item is the order appointing early voting election officers. And what we're doing is we're approving Nancy Huff to be appointed as the early voting clerk, and Jane Richmond as the and Nancy Huff to be the presiding judge, and Jane Richmond as the alternate presiding judge. Is there any more information we need on this one? I need a motion. So by Norma Dale Jones, and a second. Dr. Kelly.
I don't know if there was something.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Next item is the order appointing election officers. Okay. We don't have any specific names in this.
No, it's just the positions. I mean, we're just using, it just says that if we're going to partner with another school district.
With the school
or whatever,
districts,
so-
it's right. So the presiding judge and alternate presiding judge will be the same persons to serve the respective polling places at the respective school districts. Are there any questions on that? Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Dr. Morrison, a second. Carol Dawson. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. I see that Mr. Cutler came back in. We kind of skipped over you. Would you like to give us an update, please?
Well, just one thing that affects us all is, you know, we are currently working on and will continue to work on operations due to the fact that Medicaid, federal Medicaid, has made their cuts in reimbursement to us all. And that's why I was late. That was my excuse, and apologies for being late. Staying over the affiliates meeting, discussing those items. But you know, it's part of everybody's life right now to figure out how to make it in healthcare based on federal cuts and those kind of things. So, anyway, but other than that, I don't have a report.
Do you have anything on the surgery center?
I'm sorry?
The surgery center?
Yes. I'll tell you what I know about that is there's a lot of dates floating around for completion. I believe at the last meeting, Dr. Walker asked when that would be completed, and as per that contract, it was December 31st, 2012 this year. But the contractors are kind of saying that they want to give themselves a little leeway, and they're saying November now. It's kind of an update for completion. No specific day in November. Obviously, there's some delay days and some things that are built into that mechanism, but they performed some of the AC work only in effect to vent the system to make it negative pressure, so when they do get in there and do concrete work and cutting and those kind of things, it sucks all the dust out. The permits have been secured from the city and the state. The state has been called for their piece of TDH, and making sure that everything is properly filed. I think all of that's back. And I was told by Rusty, which is the project manager, that big construction, quote unquote, things that we could hear and see would probably happen in the next week or so.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, I comment, that's according to what I was told back in November, so everything seems to be progressing as planned.
That corridor back between the two, it's good that you mentioned that. That corridor that's between the LND and the ER is closed off, and it's a hard packed area, so don't be offended if they run you out. If you want to go take a peek at it, they'll let you look, but just when you go through those double doors, stop right there, and then they'll let you in. You know, won't let you all the way in, but you can look at it.
Dr. Walker, you wanted to make a comment about the nursing school?
I got this letter today to put on the agenda from Larry Phillips, he's the president of Angelina College. We're talking about trying to get the RN school up and going. And one of the problems is that prerequisite course that they need anatomy and physiology. And he'd like to offer that course at the Angelina College campus out here in the Loop. But it's going to need some seed money to get going because it has a number of biology models and things. He's asked us to consider funding of that. I don't know how much the whole course is going to cost to do or the total bill, but this bid is for $26,000. I don't know if it's of interest to the board to consider funding all or part of that. And it's on the agenda, we can't vote on it tonight, but I thought I would bring that request to the board for consideration. I can ask, he's delineated what it is. If y'all want to, you might see it, you're welcome to see it. Nick can see it. And it's just whether you all think we should continue our support of the nursing school, the RN program, to the prerequisites as well. I think it's a good thing, obviously. I just decided it's not the purview of the.
Do they have any timing needs on it?
I think they're trying to start the class maybe this summer. I'm not sure.
So we can discuss
We
it.
can
Put it
say
on the
tomorrow.
agenda next month.
And is it further? This will tell you exactly what it's going to buy. If there's any further questions about that, I can ask Dr. Phillips to call it and give a report. Yes,
Did we
sir.
put a descriptor on there as far as who is eligible to take that class? Is it going to be an open class to the public, or is it going to be LDNs trying to get into the RN program, this prerequisite program?
I would bet it's open to the public. Because, first of all, the people who are taking it, they may say they're trying to get into RN school, they can change their mind, et cetera, but I would assume it's going to be open.
But, and the reason I asked that question, are we going to be funding a public education entity, or are we going to be funding or helping fund a job-specific type prerequisite in the RN school? I guess that's my concern.
So I'm going to make an assumption that I think you're going to be funding a course that's open to the public, but the class specifically for students interested in pursuing the RN track.
Okay, so did we,
Any other
You want it on the
questions?
agenda?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to ask Dr. Phillips about this topic? Okay.
all right, is there anything that you want to update us on, Dr. Stovall?
No,
All right.
I've got any questions.
Okay. So we're up to, or down to the public comment section. Do we have any public that would like to say anything?
Oh, come on.
I need to ask Mr. Cutler to look into something. I was told day before yesterday, if you'd please check out the security lights behind the emergency room to see if they are working, because they were not.
In the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, if there's no other comments from the board or the public, we are adjourned.
Fine.